History makers and Sun Tzu and the art of war. In the heart of ancient China, amidst the rising smoke of burning cities and the thunder of clashing swords, a different kind of warrior was born. He wasn't loud. He didn't lead with brute strength. He led with thought, with silence, with strategy. His name was Sun Tzu, and though we know little of his personal life, his ideas have shaped the minds of generals, politicians, CEOs, and philosophers for over 2,000 years. The man in his time, Sun Tzu, lived during one of the most turbulent eras in Chinese history. The spring and autumn period, approximately 770 to 476 BCE. A time when the great Zhou dynasty was crumbling and feudal lords waged constant war for dominance. It was a time of betrayal, shifting alliances, and political bloodshed. China was not yet a unified nation. It was a fractured land of rival states, each clawing for power. In this chaos, warriors rose quickly and fell even faster. But Sun Tzu looked beyond the battlefield. He studied human nature, psychology, the patterns of power, and from this study he crafted one of the most enduring texts in human history, The Birth of the Art of War. The art of war wasn't written to glorify violence. It was written to avoid it, to teach rulers and warriors how to win without wasting lives. 13 chapters, each short, each precise, each a blueprint for mastering the mind before mastering the enemy. Sun Tzu taught that war, like life, is uncertain, unstable, and filled with illusion. And so, success doesn't go to the strongest, but to the most aware. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you will not be defeated in 100 battles. This was more than tactical advice. It was a command to know your own strengths, flaws, and triggers, to study others with the same focus, because in every battle, your worst enemy might be yourself. A philosophy of control, not chaos, where other generals spoke of glory, conquest, and domination. Sun Tzu spoke of timing, silence, and restraint. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. He emphasized preparation over reaction, deception over confrontation, adaptation over rigidity. He believed victory was not won in the moment of battle, but long before it, in the choices you make, the terrain you control, the emotions you regulate. The core ideas that shape civilizations. Let's explore some of Sun Tzu's foundational principles. Deception is critical. All warfare is based on deception. Never show your hand. Appear weak when strong, strong when weak. Timing is everything. Move only when you see an advantage. He compared battle to water, fluid, ever-changing, adaptable. Avoid prolonged conflict. The longer a war drags on, the more everyone loses. Quick, decisive strategy wins. Know the terrain, just as important as knowing the enemy. Shape your tactics around your environment. Discipline matters more than aggression. An army with no control is more dangerous to itself than the enemy. Global reach. Across time and culture's centuries after Sun Tzu's death, his teachings survived dynasties, wars, and revolutions. They crossed borders, reaching Japan, where samurai adopted his philosophy. They were translated in the West during the 18th century, studied by generals like Napoleon, MacArthur, and Eisenhower. In the 20th century, the art of war entered the world of business. Boardrooms became battlegrounds, markets became territory. Corporate leaders like Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk, whether directly or through modern interpretations, used his teachings to outthink competition, seize timing, and control narrative. In sports, his lessons guide coaches on momentum, psychological edge, and leadership under pressure. In politics, his strategies are used in diplomacy, campaigning, and information warfare. Sun Tzu's words became universal tools for anyone facing pressure, uncertainty, or opposition. Beyond war. A code for living. Here's the secret. The art of war isn't really about war. It's about living strategically. Sun Tzu believed that victory begins with stillness, with self-awareness, emotional discipline, mental clarity. In that way, he was not only a general, he was a philosopher, echoing ideas that later mirrored the Stoics of Greece and Rome. Legacy of the silent general Sun Tzu's brilliance lies in what he didn't say, in what he left between the lines. In the silence between action and reaction, he taught us that not all battles are worth fighting, that sometimes walking away is the greatest win, that a single move timed perfectly can end a war before it begins, and in a noisy, reactive world, Sun Tzu reminds us that clarity is power, restraint is strength, and silence is strategy.